So, I am a 21-year-old female, and my boyfriend is a 24-year-old male. We live together and have a beautiful baby boy that's 7 weeks old. We've been dating for almost 2 years, and our relationship was rocky in the beginning because he had radioactive jealousy. I told him if he kept starting fights over my past, I was going to leave him. He was able to work through it with his therapist, and our relationship has been really good since. I got pregnant, and that's when we decided to get our own place. We have always been together, and when we're not, he's been at work or at his brother's. He's treated me well throughout our relationship and my pregnancy. He has never given me a reason not to trust him. When I was 3 weeks postpartum, I started noticing him acting annoyed when I'd try talking to him. I just assumed he was tired because of our newborn and wanted some time alone. I then noticed he stopped caring when I'd do my silly little dances to make him laugh. He also stopped coming to bed with me, but he said that was because he wanted to stay up to play games. I got a weird feeling in my gut, so when our baby was asleep, I asked to look at his phone. He acted annoyed and said he wanted to go on TikTok but gave it to me anyway. I went through his social media and found nothing. He acted annoyed and said, "See, there's nothing. Can I have my phone now?" I told him that I wasn't done looking yet, and he got angry, then tried to grab his phone out of my hand. Our baby started crying, and he went to change him. As he did that, I looked through his email and found an Instagram account I didn't know about. When I confronted him, he said it was an old spam account. I asked him to log in, and then he let me go through it. His account had no messages, 0 followers, and no posts. I went through his following, and it was all celebrities except for one girl. When I asked who she was, he said she was someone he used to talk to, and that this was an old account. I looked at the account activity, and he made it the day our baby was born. He then said he made the account to stalk her. We got in an argument, and I went to stay with my sister in a different city for a week. He swore he didn't cheat and promised not to stalk her again. I decided to come back and work things out, since he's never given me a reason not to trust him until now. He agreed to talk about what he did with his therapist. It's been a couple of weeks, and I can't stop thinking about her. I went to stalk her account, but nothing popped up. I tried my spam account, and still nothing. I logged into my late little sister's account, and I found her right away. I'm so sure she blocked me. I have no connections to her at all, and she lives in a city 3 hours away. I asked my boyfriend why she blocked me if he didn't cheat, and he said he doesn't know. He won't budge, and I feel like I'm going crazy because why am I blocked? My therapist said I could choose to believe him because he's never given me a reason not to until now, that I could stay and work through my hurt feelings or leave. To be honest, I'm so torn because I want my little family, and what if he's telling the truth? But at the same time, I don't know how I'm supposed to just stay and be okay, because I honestly think he might have cheated. If he physically cheated, I could only think of one day that could have happened since making that account. I feel so heartbroken and insecure. I just gave him a beautiful son and put my body through so much for our baby. I'm so hormonal, and my body will never be the same. I feel so ugly because I'm the heaviest I've ever been, and that girl is so skinny and beautiful. Please, someone give me some honest advice, but don't be too rude. Can you guys be blunt, but a little empathetic? Someone smack some sense into me? I don't know if I should stay or leave and do this alone. I'm so scared for the future now and feel so broken. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I normally don't like to automatically accuse someone of cheating, but yes, probably. Even if he's telling the truth, then he is stalking a random girl that neither of you have any sort of connection to. Why would he want to stalk this girl he's never seen before, who lives hours away? Stalking implies a lack of consent and knowledge on her part, so why would she have you blocked? Honestly, I think cheating would be a better alternative than him being a stalker. I couldn't imagine being a newly single mother with a newborn, but don't stay for the sake of your baby. I know you want to keep your family together, but you both have to fight for it. Only stay if you think he is worth fixing things. Comment 2. I'm so sorry. The blocking would mean something definitely is up. Nobody wants to go through it. I went through it while 9 months pregnant when he cheated on me. It was like a switch went off, and suddenly the baby and I meant nothing to him. I'd plan your exit and file for child support. Don't beg him to treat you better. Every man knows how they're supposed to treat someone after they give birth. Now for the update. A few days after my last post, I came home and my boyfriend was acting all distant again. Like, what's new, right? I walked in and he barely looked up from his phone. We're talking about a dude who used to drop everything to give me attention, but now it's like I'm talking to a wall. I was trying to engage him in conversation during dinner, and he was just scrolling through his phone like a zombie. He had this text notification from an unknown number that popped up, and I swear he almost broke his finger dismissing it. It was so quick. I was just a little curious, but I didn't think much of it at the time. The next day, I decided to check his phone again while he was in the shower. I know, trust issues. But honestly, I felt like I was going crazy. I found another email linked to that mysterious Instagram account, and there was a message from that blocked girl. It hinted at them having met recently, and my stomach just dropped. I was already on edge, and this was just adding to my worries. I couldn't help but think the worst. When he got out of the shower, I confronted him about the message. He just stumbled over his words, saying it was just some old friend reaching out. Old friend? Really? I wasn't buying it. I knew I had to dig deeper instead of just leaving this conversation hanging. I remembered there was a family barbecue happening that weekend, and both our families were going to be there. I figured it would be the perfect chance to confront him in front of everyone if it came to that. At the barbecue, I spotted his phone on the picnic table. He was off talking to some relatives, so I quickly checked the phone again. There were more messages from the blocked girl, and I was just about ready to explode. But before I could confront him, he came back and saw me with the phone. He snatched it away like a little kid, causing this huge scene in front of both our families. I could feel everyone's eyes on us, like, what the heck is going on? The tension was super thick. During the barbecue, my sister pulled me aside. She could sense something was wrong and asked what was up. I told her everything, and she suggested a confrontation at the family dinner the following weekend. I agreed because it was the only way I could think of to gather proof before confronting him. The boyfriend was still acting distant, and we were getting into arguments over the dumbest stuff. Like, really? We're fighting over who left the cap off the toothpaste. This was not what I signed up for. On the day of the family dinner, I took some time to collect my thoughts. I prepared a few screenshots of the messages as proof, just in case he tried to deny everything. When we arrived at the dinner, the atmosphere was tense. Everyone was trying to keep things light, but you could tell something was off. Midway through the meal, I stood up and addressed the table, my heart pounding in my chest. I told everyone the truth about my boyfriend's messages and showed them the screenshots. The room fell silent, and everyone just stared at me in shock. He tried to deny it, but our family started questioning him left and right. He became all defensive, claiming the messages meant nothing. My sister jumped in, demanding he explain himself. Under pressure, he admitted to meeting the girl, but insisted it was just for closure. Closure? Really? What a joke. I decided right then to leave the dinner, taking our baby with me. As we were walking out, I heard my family confronting him further. I ignored his calls for weeks after that. He kept trying to reach out, but I wasn't in the mood for his nonsense. I was done with whatever this was between us. I thought things were over, but then a few weeks later, I found out through social media that the blocked girl was pregnant. Yeah, you heard that right. I was beyond furious and heartbroken all over again. At that point, I knew I had to cut all ties and focus on raising my child. So, that's what I'm doing now. I'm planning a trip for just me and my baby. We need a fresh start away from all this drama. I'm looking forward to it, honestly. Getting out of this toxic situation is the best decision I could make for myself and my baby. Edit. After reading the advice, I realized I needed to put myself and my baby first. I looked into getting a job and found a part-time position that allows me to work from home. My family has been super supportive, helping me with childcare and adjusting to this new chapter. I also decided to move into a new place, just a cozy apartment for the two of us. We have our own space now, and it feels great to finally be free from the drama. Aita for taking a break from my boyfriend because he can't clean up after himself. Aita for taking a break from my boyfriend because he treats me like his maid. I've been together with my boyfriend for a couple of years, and over that time, I have noticed we have wildly different levels of cleanliness. When we have lived together for short periods, his inability to see mess has caused lots of arguments. There was one argument where he said he'd look after the cleaning as I was studying, but the kitchen got to an unusable state, and I regrettably shouted at him for it. Since that point, we've had so many other arguments where he's forgotten to clean his marks off the bottom of the toilet and not clean up dishes right after he's finished lunch, giving me no indication of whether he's going to come back and clean it up. We have talked about this issue many, many times, and we are even in couples counseling because of this. From what I've gathered, his issue with not cleaning comes from a household where his mother, who is divorced from his father, always used to do the cleaning and cooking and never instilled those habits into him. He's moved in with his father from his mother's house. We don't have a place of our own. We live together to help family with dog sitting, and the house is so dirty. Now, I understand that things don't have to be brand new, but I expect things to at least be clean. The house smells. There are clumps of dog hair everywhere. The toilet has brown stains that don't come off, and I've told my boyfriend about this. I really had to push him to vacuum the stairs and his room, put a bin in the bathroom, and told him the toilet isn't okay. Once I came over and he didn't have a pillow cover on his pillow. He expected me to just sleep or hang out like nothing was wrong, and his excuse was, "Oh, I just moved. I haven't had the chance to replace this." Now we are in a huge argument because after I came and stayed over, he was chewing gum and tried to just leave it on the side of the bed. I literally had to instruct him to put it in the bin. He hadn't put gum in the bin before, instead putting it on a plate he had eaten from and left overnight. I said something about it, and he said it wouldn't happen again. Also, the toilet is in the same state after telling him it wasn't okay. He's arguing, telling me, "I asked you if you wanted it replaced, and you said nothing." My reply to this is that I feel uncomfortable asking for such a basic bare minimum, like the toilet being clean. When I asked him whether he had talked to his dad about this, he said he had, but the usual excuses were given, such as it's too expensive. His dad makes a lot of money, so I don't know why this is an issue. He's now made arrangements to get it replaced. I told my boyfriend before that the issue is that I don't want to be the one constantly telling him what needs to be done. He needs to be able to see something is wrong and then clean it. He's trying to tell me he just doesn't see it. And I even gave him a recommendation for a book about cleaning about a year ago, and he hasn't read the whole thing yet, only 2 chapters. I'm so apprehensive about progressing our relationship in any manner because although he does vacuum his room now, asking for all of these things breaks my heart and drives me insane. I don't trust him to maintain a minimum level of cleanliness if we live together, and I'm worried I'm going to become his maid or mother. I really do love this man, but I am considering whether I've enabled this behavior by not breaking up with him. I don't want to lose him, but I don't want to end up in an unhappy relationship. To add, he told me if he lived alone and the toilet was like that, he'd be okay with it because it's so much effort to get it replaced. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. He does not want to clean. He wants you to clean, and as long as you keep complaining, only then will this roll off his back. He will only care after you leave him or stop cleaning for him, and he somehow gets impacted by it. Comment 2. He'll never change. It's been 5 years and couples therapy, and he's still the same man. You're not compatible. He needs a stay-at-home wife whose world will revolve around taking care of her man-baby. You need a mature man. Now for the update. A few days after the counseling session, boyfriend texts me to see if I want to join him and his dad for dinner at this barbecue place. I say yes, thinking it could be a chill night and maybe a chance to chat about our progress. I'm just looking for a little normalcy because things have been pretty rough lately. So we meet up at the restaurant. It's actually a nice place, and the smell of smoked meat hits you as soon as you walk in, which is pretty great. We sit down and start ordering, and I'm just trying to enjoy the food and the company. All in all, it was a decent time. His dad was friendly enough, and it was nice to see boyfriend in a good mood. But then his dad makes this joke about how no one in their family is good at cleaning. I mean, come on. I'm just sitting there like, wow, really? I can feel my face getting hot, and I'm sure I was bright red. Boyfriend just laughs it off, adding that he's still learning. But I notice he's not even bothered by the comment. Shouldn't this be a warning sign? After dinner, we go back to his dad's house. I wasn't exactly excited about this, but whatever. I'm just trying to keep the peace. Then I see the kitchen. It's a mess, like a total disaster zone. Dirty dishes piled high, takeout containers everywhere. No one is even pretending they clean up after themselves. Boyfriend says he'll help clean up later, but his dad tells him not to worry about it. And I'm just standing there thinking, what is going on? A couple of days later, boyfriend invites me to a birthday party for one of his childhood friends at a bowling alley. I agree to go, hoping it'll be a good distraction. And honestly, bowling is kind of fun. So we're at the party, and during a game, I overhear him talking to his friend about how he doesn't see the issue with being a little messy in his own space. I'm just like, oh no, he can't be serious. So I bring it up later, and he gets all defensive, saying he doesn't want to talk about it at a party. Like, dude, when are we supposed to talk about it then? Later that night, I'm outside getting some fresh air, and I run into his friend. He jokingly mentions how he's seen boyfriend leave dirty dishes around, and I'm just like, what? So I ask him if it's a common thing, and he laughs, saying it's just how he is. He'll always be like that. My stomach drops. I try not to make a face, but this is bad. When we get home, I know I have to confront boyfriend about this. I can't keep ignoring these signs. So later that night, I bring it up, and he brushes it off, saying it's not a big deal. I'm just like, are you kidding me? A few days later, I find this old photo album in our living room. It's got pictures of his childhood, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a little cute. But then I see it. Photos of his messy room, cluttered spaces, just a total pigsty. I don't know why, but it kinda hits me hard. I decide to talk to my sister about this whole situation, hoping for some solid advice. A week later, boyfriend invites me to a family dinner for his dad's promotion at work. I'm trying to be supportive, so I say yes, but as soon as we sit down for dinner, I can tell it's going to be a long night. His dad makes this comment about how it's good to have a partner who doesn't care about mess, and he's looking right at me, like, wow, really? After dinner, boyfriend tells me he's been thinking about us moving in together soon, and I'm just like, what? I didn't even know what to say. I'm totally caught off guard. A couple of days later, I'm in the living room while he's playing video games, and I notice this weird smell coming from the kitchen. I go to check it out, and there's a pile of rotting food in the fridge that he forgot about. I'm just like, how is this even possible? When I confront him, he gets all annoyed, saying I'm overreacting, and it's just food. Just food? A week later, I find out he's been hiding his spending habits from me. He's racked up a ton of debt on a new gaming console. Like, seriously. So I try to talk to him about it, and he gets defensive, blaming me for not trusting him. It escalates, and I'm just done. I can't keep doing this. I can't be in a relationship where I have to beg for basic hygiene. So I decide to take a break from the relationship. It's not an easy decision, but I know it's what I need to do for myself. So I leave. To answer a few questions, I want to clarify that my boyfriend does have some positive attributes, like being kind and fun to be around, which is why I stayed in the relationship for so long. I don't think he is a bad person, but we have different priorities and lifestyles. The messy living environment affects my mental health significantly, and I realize I need to prioritize my well-being. The break from the relationship is intended to give us both space to reflect on what we truly want. Aita, for recommending a gaming app to my financially irresponsible mother and watching her spiral into debt. Aita for recommending a gaming app to my financially irresponsible mother. My mother, who is 61 years old, has always had financial struggles, but in the past 5 years or so, things have really gotten a lot better. I am now coming to realize she is not telling me many things and might be doing a lot worse than I thought. She's gotten a lot worse, but I don't know how bad. It started when she was trying to build her credit score again, and she told me she was making her payments and everything, so her balance was zero. I'm not sure if she lied or just stopped doing that, because I know she is now a few $1,000s in debt on 7 different credit cards. My brother, who is 25 years old, has been helping her manage these debts and helping pay them off and close them. I recently found out that an app I recommended to her, Mistplay, has led her to spend hundreds of dollars on since December. She has always played Candy Crush, so I thought it would be a good idea because while it doesn't actually give that much money, she plays it anyway. I can't help but feel like it's my fault, and I know it's not directly, but I can't help but feel incredibly guilty. I asked her about these purchases, and she took her phone away from me. I originally had it because I'm a gremlin and wanted to play games since my phone died, and I was that bored. Before I could count how much she actually spent, I haven't told my brother yet, but he might already know. She lied and said it was just spent on 1 game, but she spent it on 3 that I saw at least, and she said that she had actually stopped. However, the last purchase was 2 days ago. I was going to sneak a peek and see if she spent any more and how much she spent in total, but I don't want her to wake up, see her tablet missing, and have a fight. She has had recent health issues as well, which I know is making her depressed and stressed. My grandmother is also near passing. Couple that with her age and the fact she is still working but facing heavy discrimination because of medical issues, leading to fewer hours. It's no wonder she is using a game to distract herself. They make spending money so easy and painless, as if it's nothing. I wish I could just take care of her, but I don't have that kind of money yet. She doesn't tell me these things because she knows it worries me and stresses me out. She wants to do this all on her own, but then just falls back into habits and pretends to live in blissful ignorance. How can I not stress about this? I feel this disgusting, nauseating hole inside me, and I feel so powerless and unaware. She's getting older and soon will be retired with thousands of dollars in debt and no way to pay it off, and I don't make enough money to do anything about it. I don't want her to live out her retirement broke and barely getting by, probably working and in pain because she can't enjoy doing anything fun. My brother says that I nag, and that's why she tells me nothing, and I get that, but she is throwing money away and has awful spending habits at times. I'm scared for her well-being. The main advice I'd like is how to deal with the guilt, how to approach this in a non-accusatory way without scaring her further away from telling me things, how I can ask to help her, and basically just how to approach this topic with her in general. Now for an update, I logged onto her tablet again, and she has spent another $16 in the past 2 days. I snuck a peek at her tablet while she was busy and calculated that she has spent nearly $2,700 since October on these games, but it's definitely gotten better in the sense that she isn't buying a lot in one day. She had many days in winter when she spent around $60 to $90 in one go, and now she is spending $20 at most a day, if that. But it's a lot of tiny purchases, like 3 $6 purchases in one day. I'm not sure if this is a bad pattern. She also has about $500 in gift cards, though. I plan to convert these into PayPal gift cards and put them toward her card debt. I don't know if I can make her one, though, or if that's going to open up more horrible money-spending opportunities for her. I can just use my own, though, and take the money from my bank. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. It might be time for a blunt, clear warning that you are not in a position to save her if she retires with no savings and a mountain of debt. That would be the last time I bring this up. One clear warning, ideally in writing, that you do not have the ability to take care of her if she cannot take care of herself. Comment 2. A lot of people reach retirement age but can't retire. Your mom will just have to be one of them so she can work through her debt. But keep in mind, these games and spending on the games is an addiction. She will have to admit it to herself and want to fix it. Now, for the update. Here's what went down after my last update. A few weeks after my last update, my mom invited me over for a Sunday brunch to talk about her money situation. Not gonna lie, the way she worded the invite made me feel uneasy. Like, why Sunday brunch? But I went anyway. She seemed really cheerful and even cooked my favorite pancakes and bacon, which felt a bit weird considering the financial mess she's in. I mean, who makes a big meal when they're in debt? Anyway, during brunch, she mentioned feeling better about her finances, and I was like, okay, but how? So I casually asked about the credit card debt during the meal, and she changed the subject super quick. She started talking about work and how things were getting better there. After brunch, I noticed she had a new smartphone, which was really odd given her spending issues. So I decided to check her social media, and guess what? There were posts about a recent trip to a nearby beach with friends. I was like, what the heck? And confronted her about it during a phone call, asking how she could afford it. She played it off as a weekend getaway that didn't cost much and that friends helped cover expenses. A week later, my brother called, worried about her spending habits. He mentioned they found out she took out a loan to fund her recent purchases. When I visited, she was excitedly showing off new game apps on her phone. I quietly pointed out that her spending on games was still really high, but she brushed it off like it was nothing. I suggested reviewing her finances together, but she got all defensive and said she was managing fine. I also noticed more packages arriving at the house, which was another red flag. My brother decided to confront her after seeing the packages. He called me up, saying she got upset and accused us both of not trusting her. Things got heated, and she abruptly ended the conversation and left for a friend's house. A few days later, she came back home, insisting everything was fine. While helping clean the house, I found a large credit card bill hidden in a drawer. When I confronted her about it, we got into a heated argument. She claimed she was just trying to enjoy life despite her problems and didn't want to worry us. Then she stormed out. A week later, I got a call from a family member saying she had been seen at a local casino. I was shocked, so I decided to take matters into my own hands and reached out to a financial advisor for advice. During a family dinner for my birthday, the vibe was tense, and we were all avoiding the topic of money. The situation got worse when my mom received a call from a collection agency during dinner. She panicked and left the table, making excuses about needing to take care of something urgent. Still processing, I'm still trying to figure out everything that happened after that dinner. I called my mom the next day to check on her, but she just said she was busy and would call me later. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells around her, and honestly, I'm scared of what's going to happen next. My brother and I are on the same page, but I'm worried that confronting her again will just make things worse. We have no idea how deep in trouble she is, and we don't know what else she's been hiding from us. Edit: a few people have asked about my brother's involvement, and I want to clarify that he has been trying to help her settle her debts. However, she is very secretive with him. He also found out about the loan from the bank she has been using for her credit card debt. She has not told him about the spending on games. He is also unaware of the loan she took out for the recent purchases. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.